This is the Sales Babble Podcast, episode 429, Fear of Cold Calling.
Welcome to Sales Babble, the podcast that shares selling secrets for non-sellers. And now your host, Pat Helmers.
Hello, Sales Babblers. This is Pat Helmers, and if you've been in sales for a while, you know the anxiety that comes with cold calling. Deep in the pit of your stomach, you shudder at the idea of calling someone out of the blue. You look for marketing techniques that'll motivate strangers to call you. But in the end, those things don't work, do they? Sometimes the only way to get the decision maker is to dial them up. Think how much easier it would be if you looked forward to outreach. Now, let's have a mind shift. Consider how much easier it would be if you looked forward to outreach. Let's investigate this idea of overcoming your fear of cold calling and doing what we can to overcome that fear. Could you do me a favor? I'm doing a research study to better understand the interests of sales babblers and the selling challenges that they face. I'll be using the data to improve the podcast. If you could go to salesbabble.com to start the survey, it'll only take 2 minutes, and it's 100% confidential. Thanks again for helping me out. And now today's chapter, Fear of Cold Calling. Friend or stranger, all are just people, two sides of the same coin. Yet curiously, greeting a stranger, qualifying their needs, asking for an opportunity, this is the seller's greatest fear. Avoiding fear is no solution. What will be, will be. And now today's story. Pat was excited to staff a new SDR and taught Chris everything there was about cold calling. Yet, from the start, it was clear that Chris had a bad case of call reluctance. Chris did all kinds of things to avoid making the calls. Pat noticed and said, "I get where you're coming from. When we were kids, we were told not to talk to strangers, right? But we're not kids anymore. Think about all of your friends. Once upon a time, they were strangers." "Well, that's true," said Chris. "I never thought about it from that point of view." Pat went on. "The most important thing to remember when cold calling is to keep polishing your opening line. Don't try to close them, but get them to commit to a meeting later on. We have real solutions that can make the world a better place. It never hurts to ask if they're looking for help. I bet we can." The very first sales book I bought was Stephen Schiffman's Cold Calling Techniques That Really Work. Schiffman said, quote, "As a salesman making cold calls, you face a powerful foe, the status quo. This is your true enemy, the attitude of most customers that they are perfectly happy with what they already have. I bet you have a great solution to a genuine problem or desire your ideal client needs. Why not share it? What's the worst that can happen to you? They hang up? In the big scheme of life, is that so bad? If you keep cold calling in context, there's more good than bad, but only if you keep at it." In the film True Grit, John Wayne says, quote, "Courage is being scared to death, but saddling up anyway. Each morning, saddle up, smile, and dial." Now, to download a copy of this week's Tao Te Ching of Sales chapter, you can find it in the show notes at www.salesbabble.com, as well as the Sales Babble research study. Again, it'll only take 2 minutes, I promise. Now, if you found value in this episode, could you please share it with a friend, just one person who's open to growing their selling skills? That's all it really takes. And if you'd like to dig deeper into this topic, please reach out to me on LinkedIn. Let's chat. I'd love to meet you. And with that said, that's all I've got for this week. Until next Tuesday, take care and have a highly successful and a profitable selling day.
Thank you for listening to the Sales Babble podcast. Find us at www.salesbabble.com.
This is a production of Habanero Media.